In a world that grows louder each day, where people constantly compete for attention under the spotlight with polished photos and dramatic status updates, have we ever paused to ask what happens if we choose to walk quietly instead? It's no longer unusual to see people constantly sharing every moment of success on social media, from their breakfast, their gym sessions, to even the smallest professional achievement. Everything is posted for others to see. But what remains after that fleeting moment of applause emptiness when no one cares anymore? Anxiety that the next post won't receive as many likes. Is that truly freedom? The Buddha taught, the ego is the root of all suffering. The more we cling to the image of who we think we are, the more we crave recognition, the further we drift from true peace. Silence is not weakness. Living simply, without display, is a deep expression of wisdom and compassion. Like a stream flowing gently through the forest, it doesn't need applause to nourish the earth. Life doesn't have to be a stage. Some values only shine in stillness. Some of the greatest souls never spoke a word about themselves. They let their presence speak for them. Today, we walk that path, the path of humility and quiet presence, to discover the silent strength of those who don't seek to be seen, yet are always present. 1. Understanding the ego and the craving for recognition. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe slowly and ask yourself, who am I if no one knows me? Perhaps that question tugs a little at your heart, because for most of our lives, we've been taught that we must stand out, achieve more, and be acknowledged in order to feel worthy. But when our worth is measured through the gaze of others, we lose the root of inner freedom. In Buddhism, this is known as self-clinging and attachment to the ego. The ego is not our true self, but a temporary mask woven from thoughts, expectations, and reactions. When we believe in that mask, we begin living for appearances rather than for truth. Imagine a person who constantly feels the need to prove they're doing well, successful, or worthy of love. Every post, every photo, every conversation becomes a silent plea. Please notice me. But the more attention we receive, the more afraid we become of losing it. The ego grows stronger, and so does the fear. The Buddha never judged anyone. He simply pointed out that as long as we cling to the ego, we are still led by delusion. The ego pushes us to compare, compete, and feel wounded. It thrives on praise, yet trembles before criticism. It rejoices briefly, only to fall silent once the applause fades. Life is not a performance. Each moment is a chance to return to ourselves. When we stop chasing attention, we can hear the quiet voice within a voice that does not need admiration, only understanding and acceptance. In that stillness, we don't become small. We are simply releasing the burden of having to be someone. And in that release lies the beginning of true peace. 2. The power of humility. There is a quiet but enduring strength, the strength of humility. It is not loud, not demanding, and doesn't need a spotlight to prove its worth. Humility does not diminish a person. It allows them to shine in a deeper, more complete way. A humble person doesn't shrink themselves. They simply don't inflate the ego. They are aware of their abilities, yet feel no need to announce them. They work quietly, walk gently, and give lovingly, like a lotus blooming in muddy water, without pride, yet without shame. The Buddha once said, "The wise are like deep, still water, quiet and clear. In that stillness lies a universe of peace, a wisdom that needs no display. When we are humble, we listen more, learn more, and connect with the world through the heart, not through the ego." Humility is not the denial of one's worth, but the deep knowing that worth does not come from applause, but from inner character and soul. Just as the moon shines without a sound, the humble one appears like moonlight, gentle, steady, and unforgettable. 3. The story of the monk who sweeps the temple. Deep in a forest monastery, there was an old monk who quietly swept the courtyard every morning before the sun rose. He gave no sermons, held no titles, and hardly anyone noticed his presence. Yet day after day, the gentle sound of his broom brushing the earth became as familiar as the breath of the temple itself. No one knew when he had arrived. People only began to notice him when they realized that wherever he was, there was an unmistakable stillness. No words were spoken, but anyone near him felt a lightness of heart, as if their burdens had quietly melted away. That is the silent power of humility, a light that does not need to shine brightly to illuminate hearts. In everyday life, we sometimes meet people like that. They don't speak much. They don't try to impress, but the way they live brings warmth to others. A mother who quietly sacrifices for her child, a teacher who never boasts of their achievements, a friend who listens more than they advise. They are living embodiments of unspoken virtue. The Dharma isn't only found in grand sermons, it lives in each mindful step, each gentle act, each conscious breath. And when we begin to pay attention to those quiet moments, we realize the deepest truths are not found in noise, but in stillness. 4. Practicing humility in modern life. Living in an age of noise and images, humility may seem out of place, but in truth, that's what makes it even more precious. Among countless voices, a quiet soul is a refreshing breeze. Humility isn't something lofty or distant. It begins with the smallest things, like truly listening to someone without turning the conversation to ourselves, doing something kind without needing recognition, realizing that we can be right without needing to argue to prove it. You can begin by speaking less and speaking mindfully. Each word is a seed plant, seeds of understanding and compassion. Then, act without seeking credit. Do what is right, not for praise, but because it's simply right. Another step is self-reflection. Before every action, ask, am I doing this from love or from a desire to be seen? That small question can be a lantern in the dark. Finally, celebrate others. To sincerely praise the beauty in someone else without comparison is a true act of humility. Modern life may pull us away from stillness, but with just a small pause each day, a mindful breath, an unselfish act, we walk gently and deeply on the path of the wise. Dear friend, perhaps after all these reflections, you've come to see that silence has never been weakness. It is a courageous choice to not let the ego lead, to let go of the need for praise, and to return to the pure stillness of your own being. In a world full of noise and rushing identities, many are swept into an invisible race to prove themselves. But like a lotus blooming quietly in the deep mud, the humble do not seek the light, for they are the light. Humility, stillness, and simplicity do not make you less in the eyes of the world. In fact, it is in that gentleness that you may discover yourself deeper, freer, and truer with every breath. Each passing day is an invitation to return to yourself. You don't have to become someone. Just live mindfully, love silently, and smile at the imperfect that is already enough. If your heart felt something stir quietly today, if you found a part of yourself in this stillness, then give this video a gentle like, so others may also find their way to this quiet peace. Don't hesitate to leave a comment, a simple note, a reflection, or just a sign that you are walking the path of awareness. And if you wish to continue journeying together in these mindful explorations, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any peaceful step ahead. We don't need to shout to be heard. We just need to live, and the truth will echo on its own.